Hello everyone, there's a massive update for Besiege's Water DLC out now. One major addition is that the Aqua Screws now have an option to mirror chirality, so they can spin in opposite directions and cancel out reaction torques. Another big change is that now flying spirals provide almost no thrust underwater, so you can no longer cheese underwater zones with flying machines that use them. But most importantly, they added 5 new zones and updated some existing zones. In this playthrough, I'll show the zones in the order in which I beat them during beta testing, which is different from their order in the final campaign. The challenging new zones and updated physics mean that I had to completely rethink my minimum block all zones machine. So I proudly introduce the Narwhal. The full version on the Steam Workshop is 10 blocks, including 2 Aqua Screws for front-to-back movement, taking advantage of the new mirrored chirality so it goes straight. This 8-block version, however, has one of those Aqua Screws deleted, as well as another block I'll mention later. This zone, the Armada, got an overhaul that majorly amped up the difficulty. The enemy sailors can swim now, which makes sense, and that means that breaking their boats isn't always enough to defeat them. They still throw spears at you as they tread water, too, which means you have to find them amidst the wreckage and kill them fast before they destroy your machine. Razortooth Cave also got a total rework. Instead of a chest, there's a smaller but still heavy treasure to transport. The goal is farther away, so you have to contend with the sharks for some distance, and it's on a plateau, which can be a problem if you miss the target and have to go back. The overhaul of Draskar's Bestile was much needed. The gate used to, very slowly but surely, lift itself, and it didn't have weight, rendering the mechanical advantage of the gears irrelevant. But now it's a proper challenge. Salt Rock Fortress is the last of the original 10 zones. The new zones are coming up right after this. With Salt Rock Fortress conquered, it's time for the first of the new zones, Feeding Frenzy. This one is pretty straightforward. Hunt down and kill the sharks while avoiding those teeth. The area is shaped like a marine coliseum, creating the atmosphere of an underwater deathmatch. Some of the sharks don't chase you, so you have to be fast enough to catch up to the last stragglers. The Devouring Pit is probably the most anticipated new zone ever. You have to destroy 6 of the 8 tentacles while avoiding their deadly attacks to slay the Kraken. This is a unique challenge in that explosives are not very effective, but instead, melee weapons are the most efficient solution. The sunken Stronghold is an enemy base that's stacked so that, if you get it just right, you can topple it in a way that's very satisfying. Ironweave Passage has 2 firsts for Besiege. While the other zones let you take as long as you want, this one has time limits to get through each gate and trigger its checkpoint. Also, there's a secondary objective, which I'll show after this run. I built a little speedboat for the secondary objective, which is to smash all 9 crates on the way to the goal. The choppy waves add an interesting dimension to this racing challenge for both designing the machine and piloting it. Finally, we arrive at Stormrunner's Grave, another very creative addition to the Besiege universe. There are 2 objectives: steal the treasure and bury it so nobody else can find it. So, perhaps a dog would have been better suited for this, but I'm still finishing my All Zones run with the Narwhal. This zone requires you to operate underwater and on land, another first that I think was much needed for this campaign. Until now, my All Zones run has been with 8 blocks, but to make it work in this zone, I had to add another harpoon launcher to the back. On the bright side, this balances out the weight so it sinks evenly, instead of being extremely front heavy. So there you have it, the new 15-zone water campaign beaten mostly with 8 blocks, 9 on the last one. Thanks for sticking with me to the end, and please subscribe to stay tuned for more. In the meantime, I'll leave you with a clip of my classic wall climber, Brown Recluse Mark II, retrieving and burying the sunken treasure.